Good evening. How are you? My name is Pradeep Kumar. Today I am going to deliver one lecture on the movement in plants. So what is the movements in plants? How we can define movements in plants? So in case of plants, we will say the capacity of plants to change their position in response to the external or internal stimuli to known as the plant movements. So what is the external or internal stimuli? Stimuli is the factor which trigger to the movement of plants. It can be water, it can be gravity, it can be chemical, it can be something else who can affect the growth of plants. So it is called stimuli. So where the plants, you can see parts of the plants, their roots, their leaves, their stems, all are capable to movements and the fact move continuously. So you know the plant parts like roots, leaves, stems are moving continuously, but we are not able to track or able to see. If we will fix something camera and all, then we are able to see. So we categorize here two types of plant movements. One is tropic movements and another is the nastic movements. These are two types of movements are very most important. It is based on that stimulus. Stimulus means what? It is dependent on growth and directional movements. If we are talking about the tropic movement, it is depend on growth and directional movement. If we are talking about the nastic movement, it is independent on growth and it is non-directional movement. It is there is no relation between the stimulus and direction of the movement. Okay, so further tropic movement we divided into five categories. What is that? Phototropism is what? It is response against the towards the light. Okay, next the geotropism means response towards the gravity. That chemotropism is the that chemotropism is means that response towards the chemical. That hydrotropism means the that response towards the water. And the thigmotropism means that response against the some support system can be tendrils of plants that you can see in peas and cucurbitaceous species of plants. So we are talking about the if nastic movements. These are two types. So one is the seismonasty, we can say thigmomasty also, and another is the nyctinasty. That seismonasty is response against the touch, vibration and all. If we are talking about the nyctinasty, it is response against the dark or night. It will change against the day and light, is presence or absence of temperature light. Okay, so we will discuss further in details in this next couple of slides. Suppose, so what is the tropic movements? I already explained what is tropic movement. Tropic movements are directional movement. It is dependent on growth. So when plant exists, some growth movements in response to the stimulus, it is referred to the tropism. Okay, so what is the stimulus? That already told. Stimulus as an external factor that can trigger the response in plants. That what are the external factors? That already I explained. It can be water, it can be gravity, it can be chemical, it can be some other support system. Okay, so where we coming to tropism is specific to the direction to the stimulus that we explained well. So here this type of the tropism and movements will discuss one by one. Here we came to the phototropism. It is very most important and very like basic movement in plant. You can see, if you have seen that sunflower plant, you can see that movements of that flower towards the sun is called phototropism. It is very simple. So here you can see the plants grow towards or away from the light. The type of tropism in the response to light is called the phototropism. For example, you can see in general, the stems usually show positive phototropism while roots show the negative tropism. So in this video, uh, you can see here that growth of plants, lights coming this side, plants growth also coming towards light. So if we changed the light direction of light, that plants automatically change their growth pattern. It is very magical. Who said that plant can't move? You can see it is very magical, and it is very most simple example for the phototropism. Agar another example, in sunflower, you can see the head of the sunflower, it is turned towards the sun. The very sun is the source of light. So if sun will turn and rotate towards this side, that plant's flower will rotate automatically towards the sun. It is what? It is phototropism. Okay, so we'll go to next. Second one is geotropism. What is geotropism? Geotropism means it is type of tropism where plants show some growth in response to the gravity. So what? Plant show some growth towards the gravity. Gravity means what? That soil inside the soil is what? It is gravity, right? So in case of that gravity, stems are negative to the geotropism. How? Because that stems are growing towards the light and roots are growing inside the soil. So you can say the roots are positive geotropism, example of positive geotropism, and stem are negative example of geotropism. So here we explain. You can see in this picture we kept that pot horizontally. Okay, so it is like horizontally we kept, and these roots turn towards the soil or become inside the soil, and that stem turns up towards the light. It means it is showing negative geotropism and roots are showing positive geotropism. It is very most important and good example for the geotropism. Okay, so we'll go to next, that chemotropism. Chemotropism means that the few chemical substances which are actively responsible for bringing curvature movement. Curvature movement, what? It is some kind of movements in plant organs. So what are these movements? Size, like when plants grow in response to the certain chemical, this type of response is known as the chemotropism. So for example, like few examples is here. The chemotropic movement are the conversion of a flower into fruit. How flower turn into fruit? What is the process? How it will come? So the growth of a pollen tube down to the style during fertilization, movement of the tentacles in Drosera. So it is the one of the plant. It is showing like in this picture. I will explain. So here what it is, it is uh, plant like organs, flower organs. So like here is the pollen grain. Okay, so here is the generative nucleus, tube nucleus also there, and pollen tube is there. So that pollen will come and it will uh, tube nucleus will go, and it will fertilize to the egg. How that nucleus know ki where is the egg? Because that nucleus need to travel here to the here. So how it will go? It will attract by the some chemicals, because that ovary of the plants releases some chemicals. Because of these chemicals, that nucleus attracts and it will go and fertilize. It is because of what? Because of the chemtropism, because some chemicals attracts the pollen nuclei to fertilize the plants. Okay, so you can see here fertilization happen. So it is the very most important example. Here some of the nutrients also bit attracts and promote to the chemotropism, like boron. Boron is the very most important example for this movement. So now turn to the hydro movement. Hydro means water, against water. The movement of part of plant in response to the water is called the hydrotropism. Here you can see we have two plants. One is just normal control plants. Another is that is showing hydrotropism, where half of the pot of that flower plants filled with the water. Here that soil got moisture is there, and here is the dry soil. Okay, so the plant's root turning towards the water or moisture, it is clearly showing hydrotropism. It is also very good and clear example for the hydrotropism. Okay, so we'll go to next. It is thigmotropism. What is that thigmotropism? Thigmotropism is a magical example for the some family of the like cucurbitaceous, whatever is like cucumber, muskmelon, watermelon, and these are buttergourd and all. So the growing or development movement made through plants in response to the contact with a solid object are called thigmotropism. What are the that solid object? Solid object is stimulus, because it is the stimulus which plant responds against that stimulus. So these type of movements are usually seen in the tendrils. Tendrils is what? It is part of plants which is grow to seek support. Where support is there? Support is there. We provided support, that plant will go and the tendrils will uh, take support from the that stimulus. This movement is also referred to the haptotropism. We can also call it haptotropism. It is very most important chapter for examination purpose. You will get lots of short topics, short questions from this chapter. So now we coming into that second part. It is Nastic movement, which is undirectional, which is independent. There is no direction, no relation between the growth. So these movements are non-directional responses to the stimuli. These movements are in independent of the direction to the stimulus. There is no dependency on the stimulus, and there is no directional movement also. So these movements can be due to change in the turgor or growth. Turgor means some kind of plant mechanism is there. Because of that, example, the response to the touch me not. Touch me not is a plant. We can say scientific name Mimosa pudica. It is a plant. If you will touch to that plant will go to the sleeping mode. Okay, so plant to touch. So however, there is two type of that Nastic movements. We will discuss one by one. Here is this very most important example also here for the seismonasty. Seismonasty are also called thigmonasty. Okay, so here this type of movement is due to mechanical stimuli. Mechanical stimuli what? Some kind of force, touch, wind, raindrop, and it can be anything which can force to the plant. So example include the movement in the mimosa. Mimosa pudica is the touch me not plant only. Movement in the insectivorous plants also. So in this picture or the video that you can see here, some person touched the leaf of the touch me not plant. These leaves going turned into the sleeping mode. What happened here? They are responding against the touching, because there is touching, some mechanism is there. Okay, so another example is there, that insectivorous plants are there. Insectivorous plants are there. If some insects will come in contact with the top, that insect will got trapped. It can't go away from that, because these plants having mechanism like that. That's why it is called insectivorous plant. Okay, so you can understand the seismonasty. Now it is last nasty movement at night and in dark. So you can see by example also. So how they respond. This type of Nastic movements is also called sleeping movement. Here is the problem. Then that plant will get dark, like darker day and night difference of light. Then they will turn into sleeping mode. Here this is the governed by variation in light and temperature. That's why it is also called sometimes categorized under the photonastic and thermonastic movement. Example, leaf of clove and oxalis close in the evening and open in the morning. Here you can see, here at night it is closing and becoming sleeping mode. Here at day, presence of light, it is like okay. Here is the magic of plant movements. I hope you are able to understand this topic, movements in plants. It is very beautiful topic, and I hope I clearly explained as you expected. So this is from my side. Thank you so much.